We've all been told that kindness is strength, that fairness brings respect, that if you're good to others, the world will reward you. But what if everything you've been taught is wrong? History, if we look closely, paints a very different picture. The real world of power doesn't operate on these ideals. The most powerful people, empires, rulers, and modern-day titans of industry didn't get to the top by playing nice. They understood one brutal truth: fear is power, and weakness is fatal. Imagine a world where showing mercy is your downfall, where one wrong move, one moment of hesitation, can cost you everything. This is not some hypothetical situation. This is the harsh reality. The conquerors, the tyrants, and the decision-makers throughout history knew this, while the kind-hearted leaders often paid the price with their downfall, betrayal, or even death. One of the most brilliant minds to understand this was Niccolo Machiavelli. In the early 1500s, as a man stripped of his political power and exiled from Italy, he wrote a book that would challenge everything we think we know about leadership. That book was The Prince, and it laid out the brutal rules of how to seize power, and more importantly, how to keep it. It was banned by the Vatican for being too dangerous, too unapologetically ruthless. But Machiavelli's core lesson was this: it's better to be feared than loved. In 1513, when Machiavelli was in exile, abandoned by the very same people he once served, he didn't beg for mercy. Instead, he wrote The Prince, a guide to power, showing the world that those who play by the rules of kindness and fairness are often the first to be trampled. Machiavelli's message was clear. If you want to survive in a world ruled by power, you must be feared, not loved. The world doesn't reward kindness. It rewards strength. It rewards those who are ruthless enough to take what they want. History is full of leaders who thought kindness would protect them, only to fall victim to those who understood that real power doesn't care about morality. Take King Louis XVI of France, for example. He tried to be a king of the people, making concessions, showing mercy, and compromising to ease tensions during a time of revolution. But what did that lead to? His own death. The people didn't respect his kindness. They saw it as weakness. Machiavelli would have predicted this downfall. In The Prince, he warns that a ruler who is too merciful invites chaos, but a ruler who is feared maintains order. History shows this time and time again. Rulers who hesitate, who show mercy at the wrong time, are the first to fall. But why is fear more effective than love? It all comes down to human nature. People may say they want a kind, loving leader, but deep down they respect strength. Fear, it turns out, creates a sense of control. It makes people predictable and easy to manage. This is why even the most ruthless people rise to the top. Think of the CEO who fires employees without hesitation to save his company. He may not be liked, but he is respected. The politician who crushes his enemies, he may be hated, but he keeps power. The school bully may not be loved, but he controls the entire playground. The truth is simple. Love is conditional, but fear is reliable. If you rely on people's love for power, you are setting yourself up for betrayal. But if they fear the consequences of disobedience, they will follow you, whether they like you or not. Take Julius Caesar, for example. He was loved by the people, but too trusting of his enemies. He forgave them, believing in their loyalty. What happened? They betrayed him, stabbing him 23 times. Contrast that with Augustus, his successor, who learned from Caesar's mistake. Augustus was not afraid to crush his enemies, and he ruled for over 40 years. This idea doesn't just apply to historical figures. Look at the most powerful people today. Steve Jobs wasn't known for being kind. He was feared. He fired employees on the spot, demanded perfection, and crushed competitors. People hated working for him, but he built Apple into one of the most powerful companies in the world. Similarly, Vladimir Putin rules with an iron fist, eliminating anyone who could threaten his authority. And Elon Musk? He's fired entire teams without hesitation, ignored public criticism, and dominated industries. People may not like him, but they fear and respect his power. But fear, in the way Machiavelli saw it, isn't about cruelty. It's about control. Mercifulness, Machiavelli believed, is a trap. Mercy exposes you to betrayal. The moment you show mercy, your enemies will see weakness, and they'll take advantage of it. Look at Mikhail Gorbachev, the last leader of the Soviet Union. He trusted his enemies, offering them freedom and compromise. But they used that very freedom to overthrow him. Contrast that with Joseph Stalin, who purged his opposition before they could challenge him. He ruled with fear, and his power was unchallenged for decades. So, what's the takeaway here? Power is not just about being in control, it's about keeping control. And the way to do that is through decisive action. Machiavelli warned against hesitation because hesitation is a sign of weakness. The most successful rulers eliminated threats before they could grow. They didn't wait for their enemies to rise up. They struck first. Napoleon Bonaparte, for instance, won countless battles not just because of his military genius, but because he was unpredictable. He moved faster than anyone expected. He didn't wait for his enemies to make the first move. He forced them to react to him. And this brings us to the final, most dangerous lesson Machiavelli left behind. Perception is everything. Power isn't just about strength. It's about how others perceive you. You can be stronger than your enemies, but if they think you're weak, they'll attack. If they think you're harmless, they'll let their guard down. If they think you're benevolent, they'll underestimate your power until it's too late. Julius Caesar is a perfect example. While his enemies believed he was loyal to the Roman Republic, he was silently building an army. He acted weak, so no one feared him. Then, when the moment was right, he struck and took Rome in a single move. His enemies never saw it coming. The art of power, as Machiavelli taught, is deception. A wise ruler must be like both the lion and the fox. A lion is strong but predictable. A fox is clever but weak. The perfect ruler combines both, strong enough to destroy enemies and smart enough to avoid traps. Machiavelli's final piece of advice: never trust too easily. Loyalty is fleeting. Trust can be a trap. If you must trust someone, always have leverage over them. Don't believe in unconditional friendship or loyalty. People who smile at you today might stab you in the back tomorrow. History is full of leaders who fell because they trusted the wrong people. Julius Caesar trusted Brutus, a man he treated like a son, only for Brutus to deliver the final blow. Never trust blindly. Power is a game, and Machiavelli's lessons are the rules. If you want to survive in the world of power, you have to understand when to be ruthless, when to act decisively, and how to control perception. The world is unforgiving. It's not about being good or bad, it's about control. So now you have the knowledge. The question is, will you use it? Would you embrace Machiavelli's laws, or would you refuse them, knowing the cost might be too high? History doesn't remember the kind, it remembers the victorious.